Whether you're looking for answers to specific life questions or seeking to become the best version of you possible, welcome to the Mental Breakdown and Psychreg podcast, where we offer insight, information, and strategies based upon research and years of practice as clinical psychologists. So sit back, have a listen, and get connected with our hosts, Dr. Berney Wilkinson and Dr. Richard Marshall. Welcome back. Richard, today we're going to talk about ways in which parents can help their children become leaders. Mm-hmm. And so this was an article in Forbes, at Forbes.com, written by Deep Patel. Right. I'm not sure what his credentials are, but he writes a lot about Gen Z, the newer generation of children. Mm-hmm. And he talks about, or is written, entitled, 10 Ways Parents Can Teach Their Children to Be Leaders. Right.
You know, as I read, I thought, I don't know that I'm terribly interested in this. It comes from Forbes magazine, which is sort of right-wing propaganda. No, I'm just no. And I thought that why is this business magazine? They're talking about leaders and raising entrepreneurs. As soon as you begin reading it, it's not just about raising leaders. Right. It's about helping your children reach their full potential. That's what it's really about. Right. And I wish he would have named it that, because I almost didn't read this one. Right. You know, because I thought, well, I'm not that interested. But as soon as I read the beginning and it said how to teach children to reach their full potential, I kept reading, and I'm glad that I did.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about these 10 things that he mentions here. Mm-hmm. So number one is have them try out sports.
My goodness, yes. Yeah. Boys and girls.
Absolutely.
And I don't care when you start. It can be, you can start them at 5 or you can start them at 12. But every child should have the opportunity to be on a team. Right. At some point in his, I don't care how well they play, they should have an opportunity to be on a team.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. There is so much that comes from being on a team and playing a sport, not just the physical, because it doesn't have to be a physical sport. Mm-hmm. It could be anything, but they have to learn teamwork, how to interact with other people, how one person influences the group or the team. So being on a team is really important.
Years and years and years ago, I had the opportunity to serve as the dean of a private school. Mm-hmm. And it was my first experience with independent schools. Mm-hmm. And the headmaster said, oh no, every child will stay after school. Mm-hmm. And this was in the middle school years, 7 through, we went through 9th grade. And he said, no, every child will stay after school and participate in a team sport. Yeah. And I thought, that's kind of, what if they don't want to? It doesn't matter. Yeah. For most of these kids, this is the only time they'll ever be on a team. They don't have the skills to play in high school or college. And this would be the only time they get, and he felt it was crucial that as a school, we provide them with that opportunity. Awesome. This is how you learn teamwork. This is how you learn to work with other people, to be on a sports team. So it's not the sport, it's the team that's important. So I'm glad they've mentioned this one.
Yeah. Number 2 is to focus on emotional intelligence. And we've talked about this before, but helping your child understand empathy and sympathy and how to interact with others empathy and how to understand how other people feel about things.
That's right. You have to start teaching children empathy and sympathy from a very early age. Absolutely. And you have to keep teaching it through the adolescent years. You can't expect them to have it, to develop it on their own. This is something we have to guide.
Absolutely. Now I really like number 3.
Yes.
Embrace failure.
Absolutely.
We've really discussed this one a lot.
We do.
But it's so critical. You know, if you want to know how to succeed, you have to be able to fail. Right. That's right. And so you have to teach them that failure is okay. It's a part of learning.
That's right. It's such a disservice to give children the notion that they must succeed all the time. Exactly. No, they have to be doing things and pushing themselves to higher and higher standards, so that they do fall short every once in a while.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Number 5 is take them on trips.
Right. Yeah.
Expose them to the world and expose them to things that they may not have been otherwise exposed to.
Every time I administer an IQ test and we get to Lighthouse, how do most, if you don't grow up on a coast, how would you even know what but if you travel a little bit, you're going to encounter a lighthouse somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay? And you have to take your kids out. You have to go do other things.
Yeah, exactly. So, number 6 is teach patience.
Yes.
Now, this is a lesson that a lot of parents have to learn.
Did somebody teach you patience?
They tried.
No, because you have patience.
Well, I didn't when I was a kid.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
So nobody taught you that?
Well, it was emphasized. It was we had to work on it a lot, but yeah, I didn't have that.
Didn't come naturally.
No. There was a song that my mom, we had on our record player. It was,
I remember those.
I don't remember who sang it or what the name of it is, but it was just about have patience.
Mr. Rogers.
I don't know. I don't know if it was Mr. Rogers or not.
No, somebody taught you how to do that because you're very patient with objects and with people, but mainly with objects, and you always try to figure out how to do it rather than get frustrated by it. You don't get frustrated by things. Yeah. You patiently work through it.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered whether somebody taught you that.
No.
But it didn't come naturally.
No,
Okay.
and there's still a lot of things that I'm not patient about. Like when I decide that there's things that if there's things that I want to do, if there's things that I would like to have happen, especially as it relates to work and everything, I got to work on it and I got to get it going like as quickly as I can because I can't. It's hard for me to think about.
But you really need to teach your kids how to be patient. No matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter what the task is, always help your children to explore other solutions.
Right.
Be patient, work through it. Don't get frustrated. Don't get angry. Let's sit down and work through it and see how to solve this problem.
Absolutely. Now, number 7 is give them time to be creative.
Right.
And this is part of patience.
Right.
But this is the patience on the parent side. Give them the opportunity. Let them figure it out. Don't just give them the answer. Don't just get them to the end.
Right.
Let them figure it out. That's really. And when we're thinking about building leaders, people who can be successful, who can be problem solvers, this is what they have to be able to do.
I'm thinking about selling my old car to my son, selling it to him because I don't want to just give it to him.
Right.
Okay, I want him to earn it. But it needs some body work. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And I might teach him how to do that and make him do it himself.
The body work?
The body work on the car.
See, that's an area where I'm not very patient. I have a hard time with.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen you work on your engines. You're patient with that. Remember the battery problem you had? Stripping those wires?
That was... I don't know if that was patience as much as it was just... My wife told me I had to do it.
Oh,
maybe
that changes everything. Never mind. I take it all back.
Now, number 8 is practice negotiation techniques with them.
Right.
And again, we've talked about negotiation before because some people do not believe in negotiating and compromising with their kids, and we disagree.
I disagree soundly.
Yeah. Negotiating or compromising with your kids is a great way to teach them how to negotiate, how to work out problems with somebody else who may have a different belief or different thought or different idea than you.
It's so ironic that parents will say to their children, well, you have to go work that out with her. Let's work this problem out with her. On the one, you're teaching them to do it, and yet you won't compromise with them. And we teach our kids by modeling.
Right.
So we model negotiation with them so that they know how to do it with others.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't be afraid to negotiate with your kids because Ross Greene has written a whole book about collaborative problem solving.
Right.
And how do you get to collaborative problem solving if you don't negotiate with your children?
Right.
So start early and get good at it.
Yeah, yeah. Number 9, instill the dangers of procrastination.
The dangers of procrastination.
That one's tough. Procrastination is, I think most people procrastinate to some extent.
Pretty human, yeah.
Some more than others, but it is important to take care of what you need to take care of now. Just get it done. And that whole idea of why put off till tomorrow what you can do today.
Right.
We used to say that all the time, but I think that's a lesson lost.
Right. I think that it's crucial that you start teaching kids very early. Well, let's take care of our chores so that we can go to the beach, or let's take care of this so that we can do the fun stuff. Take care of it now. Don't. Yeah, we can do that tonight when you get back. But if we do it now, then we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right. Exactly.
And get your homework finished. Then you have the rest of the night.
Exactly. Exactly. And number 10, you said this a minute ago.
Gosh.
Lead by example.
That's right. You got to model what you want.
Yeah. If you're not doing it, they're not going to do it.
Yeah. If they don't see you reading,
Right.
chances are they're not going to read. If you spend, the entire evening on your electronic devices, guess what your kids are going to do.
Right.
You can't model one thing and expect or demand them to do something completely different.
Right. Exactly. So model what you want them to do.
What's that say? 70? Oh yeah. What's that say? That was important. 70% of parents.
72% of parents wanted their parents to view them as a good parent.
Right.
So 72% of parents wanted their parents to view them as a good parent.
That's right. That my parents would judge me as to be a good parent.
Right.
Okay. And these are 10 ways to make that happen.
Yeah.
So this is far more than instructions in how to make your children leaders.
Right.
Okay. Well worth the time.
Right. You said right-wing propaganda. Good gracious.
No, but I laughed because
You did laugh.
No, but I'm surprised that this was in that publication.
Right. So, all right, that's it. Right. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and forget to be afraid.